Lindsey Renee here, host of the Rhythm and Soul Patrol show. And today I've got a special guest. Now, usually when I bring people on my show, I have to give you the group that they were in, the hit song that they were singing during that moment. But today's guest needs no introduction. Now, young or old, it does not matter. You might not even know his song, but you know his name. Today's guest is Mr. Dr. Dre.
Hello.
Hi. How are you doing today?
I'm absolutely fantastic. Thanks for having me on your show.
Thank you for wanting to be on the Rhythm and Soul Patrol show.
Yeah.
The Rhythm and Soul Patrol show highlights the music of the 60s, 70s, and 80s. And in my opinion, the greatest music ever.
I agree.
You agree?
Yes,
That's
absolutely.
good to know that is the greatest music. Now, I want to start things off with your early years. Can you give me your earliest memory? And I mean, it's Saturday morning, you wake up cleaning, or you come home from school. What is the song you hear when you think of that, just your early years?
Well, I think my earliest memories of music started when I was really young. I think I was like 4 years old or something like that. There's actually pictures that my mother showed me of me in a onesie reaching up to play records. So, and this was before I could read. But I knew what the labels looked like, and I knew that these songs were okay. These were the ones that people are going to gravitate towards and make people move. So there are pictures of me actually DJing at 4 years old at my mother's parties and what have you. I would be the DJ, and I'm a fan of the 70s, 60s and 70s soul. James Brown, Curtis Mayfield, Barry White, and all of that, Isaac Hayes. So that's what I grew up on.
You said Curtis Mayfield,
yeah.
Who put out. He obviously left the impressions, and he goes and he does Superfly, and he does all the rest of his solo career albums, and
which is my favorite album of all time.
Mine too. That's my favorite soundtrack.
Superfly it's like my favorite album.
Curtis Mayfield is really one of the reasons why I love the old school music so much, is because he was one of the most influential people.
Yeah.
You got leaders, Martin Luther King, Malcolm X, but you have Curtis Mayfield, who was saying, "Wake up!" I mean, he was saying, "We're a winner. Keep on pushing."
Yeah.
And
Winner is fantastic. The guitar part on No Thing on Me at the beginning is amazing.
It is.
Yeah. I've been listening to those songs my entire life. But I have a different outlook on why the artists from the 60s and 70s changed. I think the technology enabled the artists to be a lot more creative, because when the 70s came in, that's when you started having multi-tracks. Before then, artists were able to go in and just do 2 tracks or 4 tracks, which means the band had to get it right the first time. So when you start the song, you cannot mess up. You have to get it right from beginning to end. And when the multi-tracks came in, that's when the artists were able to really establish themselves, hence Marvin Gaye. Marvin Gaye was able to do all of his own backgrounds, And imagine Marvin Gaye's album, I Want You, or any Marvin Gaye album in the 70s without him doing his own backgrounds and there being background singers doing it. It wouldn't have been the same.
It wouldn't.
So when multi-tracks came in the 70s, that's when the real creativity in music started happening.
Yes.
Yeah.
I mean, music was changing, of course, and as it should.
Yeah.
It evolves and everything like that, but...
In the 80s, it got a lot more pop. Michael Jackson and Prince, it got a lot more pop. Still fantastic music, but in my opinion, the 70s is when it really made that switch and that turn to being really creative, and the artists understanding that they have this new technology and all of this space and this these blank canvases creatively to just really express themselves. So that's why I always go to the 70s music, and especially 70s soul, to get inspiration.
Speaking of your inspiration, can you walk me through the process? Do you just hear a song, you're like, I know what I can do with that? What happens? How does it work?
That does happen,
okay.
Actually. Fortunately for me, I grew up learning music, reading the back of album covers and the liner notes and all that, learning who played what on what. I was really interested in that. And then I turned into a DJ. So my mental musical library got enhanced then. So when I started DJing, I think I was 14 years old. So, and that was a stepping stone to me becoming a producer. So I've just got this massive amount of knowledge when it comes to old school music, and it's not just limited to soul music. It's rock. There's some polka songs that I
Mm-hmm.
like. You know what I mean? It's just I'm just a fan of really great music and really good musicians. So that's what it was for me, and it's still that today. You know, just last week I discovered a Little Richard song that I never heard before that is off the charts amazing.
What song is it?
It's called Hurry Sundown.
I don't think I'm familiar with that one. See, he's already putting me on some new music. I gotta go look that one up.
It's amazing. The chord changes with the horns and the strings are fantastic, and the way he's singing. People don't understand how great Little Richard was as a singer, you know, because he's one of the inventors of rock and roll. And I feel like he dumbed it down for rock and roll because he's a fantastic singer. And if you hear this song, you'll understand exactly what I'm saying.
That is the power of a really good song.
Right,
Allowing your what you intended to get out there, and but what's crazy, what's really cool about a song is people are going to interpret it any which way they want to.
right. But you are projecting a feeling, and you have that power to make you feel a certain way. And it's music. It's music, and no other form of art can do it the way music does. Not books, not movies, not paintings or anything
Mm-hmm.
like that. Music touches the soul. And it's crazy that music gets such a bad rap. You know, you can talk about certain things in a song and in music and get flack for it and not get the same flack if the same thing was projected in a movie
Exactly.
or a book. It's a really weird thing. And I've had this conversation with people like, why does music get such a bad rap when it comes to, let's just say it's gunplay in a song?
Mm-hmm.
It would get a bad rap. But you have movies where they're killing like 1,000 people in it and nothing is said. That's because music has the ability to touch your soul, and it's a different type of touch. It's a different type of experience when you're listening to music. So I think that music is extremely powerful. I think it's the most powerful form of art.
What is that feeling that comes over you when you know you got a hit, or even just you feel so good about it that it makes you like, this is why I'm doing it. This is the joy it brings me.
Well, that's just the thing, and that happens all the time. It's happening now. You know what
Mm-hmm.
I mean? And you never really know until the audience lets you know. You know, no matter what you do in the studio, no matter how good you think it is, you don't really know until the audience tells you.
Do you have a favorite record of yours that you've put out, that you've shared with us, or would your favorite be something that you've kept?
I get asked that question all the time. Whenever anybody asks me, like, what is your favorite record? I always say the next one.
Mm.
All the music that I've recorded in my career, I started recording in 1985. I feel like maybe 20 or 30% of the music I've recorded has come out. My music isn't for everybody. You know, I just love recording. It's for my friends and family, and really just for me. And some of it's to hold, some of it's to be sold.
Mm.
You know, yeah, that's what I do. I like discovering new talent. That's one of the reasons why we're sitting here right now, because I saw you on Instagram and I felt your vibe, and I was like, how does this young woman have this library of music in her head? And it's like, I want to meet her, you know, and have a conversation. And, you know, it was fantastic. I love working with new artists. I think I'm pushing 40 years in my career right now, and there's just a few artists that I've worked with that were established.
Mm-hmm.
Those being Tupac, Mary J. Blige, and Busta Rhymes. Those are the only artists that I've worked with in my entire career that were already established. I like working with new and up and coming talent. Everybody that I've worked with is just new, fresh, and up and coming. And that's what I like to do.
So what about me?
I saw something in your library of music and the way you spoke about music, you were digging into it.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm like, okay. So I started following you, like, oh, she's got something.
Mm-hmm.
I like to sit down and have a conversation with her.
Well, we're here. We are talking about this music, and most importantly, what it means to us. I really appreciate you, sitting down here and having this conversation with you, because for me, the same way you said, it's powerful and there's always a story with it. I felt that way at such a young age, and I felt drawn to it. I felt that I didn't know that it was going to be my job or in my hands to create something for the world, even though it was already created, or to just keep it flow, continue it.
But you can be an inspiration to other young people to discover this type of music that we're talking about. You know, that's what I think. That's why I wanted to talk to your parents. I'm like, how did she get this thing? I told you, I'm like, nah, before you come out here, I want to talk to your parents. I want to understand this. Where did this come from? Because I know how it happened with me.
Mm-hmm.
And it's a rare thing. It's a rare thing to have that type of knowledge for this type of music. So that's one of the reasons why I wanted to sit down and talk to you.
Well, how did it happen for you? Besides, just having the hunger to read the liner notes and to read the dedications on the albums, because for me, I feel like it just came over me one day.
It's exactly the same.
Okay.
I grew up in it. It's all I know. My mother constantly playing just soul music and jazz and all different types of music. It wasn't just soul music. Like I said, it was rock and roll. It was all types of music being played. And I got interested in it and I got hooked. And that snowballed into where I am now. That foundation took me there. It was a stepping stone to take me to DJing. And I had no idea I was going to be a record producer. And that snowballed into me being a record producer and so on. And playing with movies and that whole thing.
Would you say you're proud of the outcome?
Absolutely. I'm not just proud of the outcome because I'm still learning. I'm excited and proud of the man that I know I'm going to become.
Mm-hmm.
I'm proud. I'm excited about the discovery of who I'm going to become because I'm an entirely different person today than I was just 10 years ago. So in the next 10 years, I'm excited about who I'm going to be.
Everyone's at different stages in their life. And for you to still have this drive and this motivation to want to continue learning, because some people are like, I don't want to, where I'm at is where I'm at, and that's where I'm going to be.
Why do that?
I don't know why they do that.
That sounds boring as shit. I don't know. Yeah, I can't stop. I wanna see what else is available. I'm halfway done with my life, if I'm lucky. I'm pushing 60. So, if I get another 30 years, I'm happy, but I'm going to use it to the fullest. Just to learn and help and move forward.
Some artists don't even want to give back or want to continue that cycle going, pouring into the younger generation. And if you, like you said, you love to find new talent. What do you feel that you like to find new talent to mold, or just to, this is the next thing?
I don't know. I just recently I discovered a new word. It's fargin, F-A-R-G-I-N, right? I discovered this word, and the definition of it is finding joy in the success of others, right? And that completely defines my personality. So, and that makes me feel good.
Mm-hmm.
Nothing compares to that feeling. There's no other feeling like that, and that's the reason why I continue to do it, to chase that feeling.
It is a good feeling when people enjoy and you're bringing them joy.
Yeah.
You feel like you're doing work for God when you're bringing joy to people.
Yeah.
Well, I want to talk about one sample that you've done in your
Keep
career.
going. Yeah.
One sample that you've done, and I brought it here with me. Does this look familiar to you?
Yes.
Now, let me tell you.
Haywood.
Leon
Yeah.
Haywood. You found this at your mother's house.
Yes.
When I tell you, the song that you use, I Want to Do Something Freaky to You, is actually a song that I never paid attention to.
I did.
I know you actually did. You did a couple times.
Let me tell you this. Leon Haywood. Yeah. This is fantastic.
I know. Do you have a copy? Please tell me you have a copy.
Not anymore.
You gave it away?
Okay, there's another story to that I'm really not proud of.
Okay.
I had a collection of records. I had over 80,000 albums that I stored in a warehouse. And
Now we're getting juicy. This is what I wanted to talk about.
And at a certain point, I think it was the early 2000s, I sold all of my wax. And I'm kicking myself in the ass still about that.
Look at this face. That broke my heart. Because I was
Yeah.
like, I asked, I was like, does he have a record player? And they're like, no. And I was like, well,
Yeah,
I'm guessing he
so
doesn't have a collection either.
I had a collection, but yeah.
Well, why'd you wanted to?
You know what? It was a warehouse. I had a turntable in there and a bar and everything. And then all of a sudden it just turned into a bill because I was never going.
Of course.
You know, and I was like, okay. It took me 10 years to decide to sell. And I finally did, and I'm really pissed off at myself about that. But this particular record, Leon Haywood had a studio, and it was where the Crenshaw Mall is now. They tore that whole area down and built the Crenshaw Mall, and I used to go over to his studio and record it, and he would come through every now and
So
then.
you've met Leon Haywood?
Absolutely. It was his studio. And then, you know, years later, I made, you know, this became the first single off the Chronic album, Nothing But a G Thing.
Yes.
Yeah. So, yeah.
Oh, I brought you something.
Oh, okay.
I'm so sorry, I brought you something.
You
Yes.
come with gifts?
Yes, I brought you something right here. So,
Just win.
I was doing my research. I know how much you love your Air Force Ones.
Yeah.
So, he got them on. I knew he would. So my sister is an artist.
Oh.
She customized
Stop
a little something
playing.
for you. So it's, you know, the two that, wait, you gotta see the other one too. Grab the other one. They're different.
Oh, okay.
Shout out my sister Allison, who is an amazing artist in Detroit, and she made you.
Thank you,
your
Allison.
very first, yes. Both albums. Here, let me grab that one. Chronic, and then the 2001 album inspired Air Force Ones.
Thank you, Allison. I really appreciate this.
So we want to do that for you, and just, you know.
I have a show happening after the Super Bowl, and I'm gonna wear these.
Ooh, okay.
That's what's up. Thank you.
I'm glad you like them, and thank you so much once again.
Thank you. This is great.
I want to thank you for tuning in today. We just sat and talked with Dr. Dre, talked about the early years, and about this sweet soul music. Thank you, everyone, and until next time, I'm Lindsey Renee. Don't lose the groove.
Lindsey Renee, what's next?